Hello, everybody. My name is Liam Phillips, and welcome to the NPOP show. NPOP. Um, Kayleen and I were just talking before the show about comedy and joking around, and just like you don't really have to understand a joke in order to find the funniness in it. So I'm just going to NPOP again because it was fun for me. NPOP stands for No Problems, Only Possibilities, and each time that I look at that each week, it's like, wow. During the week, funnily enough, something always comes up with Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, and somewhere along the week, I will hear him say, or I'll see a quote about him talking about no problems, only possibilities. And it's like, not in those exact words, but often talking around that particular subject. And it's like, well, what a great name for a show. So today we're looking at the art of choosing. And I guess one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this particular thing was that we're not really, in this reality, we're not really taught to choose. And we're not really taught to choose because what we're taught is not really choice. It's really more along the lines of an either or universe. So the choice that we're taught as kids is more like this. You can have an apple or you can have an orange. You can have an ice cream or you can have a can of Coke. And as we get a little bit older, we expand those choices, but really they're just an algorithm with a set number of outcomes to that particular question. So it's never about the infinite possibility. It's always about the algorithm of this reality, the equation of this reality, the computation of this reality. And so we're taught these ways of choice, which are not really choice. So everywhere where we've misidentified what choice is and what choice isn't, can we now destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, popcorn, ice, short boys and beyonds. And that's the access clearing statement for all of those people that are going to be watching in the future. And they, what the hell was that? And you can find it at www.theclearingstatement.com. And so choice is one of those 4 elements of creation that Gary talks about. There's actually 5. Choice, question, possibility, contribution, and the 5th one is demand. And we do a lot of that. So we work a lot on that in the foundation class, in the Access Foundation class. And this show is for a lot of people that have done foundation, and they get great changes during foundation, and then they go off into their own worlds and they apply the access tools. And then after a while, we start to, I have found that some people, not everyone, I have done myself, forget to use the questions, or we forget that we have choice, or we forget that there are infinite possibilities there, and we cut off our willingness to receive and also to gift, which is the contribution. And sometimes it feels like we're going backwards, and I use that term feeling very loosely. So choice is one of these tools. We forget that it is a tool because we have all these amazing tools and processes and questions, and yet choice works so well with demand. Is I'm going to choose something different here. And so the other week I had somebody in my reality, and every time that something came up, I would resist and react to them. And that wasn't creating a reality that I would like to create as my life, because I know that resistance and reaction, whilst is a great tool to use when you actually see it. It's what it really does is creates just more havoc and shit in your life. So I was looking at that, and every time that I went into resistance and reaction to this person, it would just create the same thing over and over again. So I noticed that the resistance and reaction was a creative energy, but it just created this loop, this infinity loop, if you like. Sure, the resistance and reaction works for a little bit because it pushes that person out of my reality, and then I don't have to deal with them. But then they come back into my reality, and then I go into resistance and reaction again. And so it's just, you just get onto this infinity loop where you go over and 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 over. You know what I mean? Everybody's been in one of these things. And so it doesn't really work to create something further in the future, something different. It just creates change. So at that point where I realized that I was stuck in this infinity loop of resistance and reaction, I could feel that energy starting to build up. And we're very energetic beings, all of us. So you all know that sense, when that anger or that resistance and reaction, it starts to flow up through your body. Yeah. And I mean, it's different at different times and it can flow in different ways, but we all know it because it's all of a sudden it's there and you feel like you don't have any other possibility other than to go with that flow of energy rather than choose something different. So the question that I felt that energy, and it was sort of like coming up through my feet and up through, and I know when it sort of gets to my chest area, that it can now go ballistic into my head, and then I'm just like a solid block, and then I have no I want to say control. Then I have no other possibilities. So just as it was starting to come up to my chest, I went, okay, cool. So that's just an energy. That's not something that I have to force into my head or force out into the world. It's just an energy. Just recognize it as an energy. And then I applied a question. The question was, okay, so what can I be and do? What can I be different here that's going to change this? That's going to create something different. What can I be that's going to create something different? And as soon as I did that, it was like that energy, instead of being a laser force or a fist, because that's what the resistance and reaction often is like, bang, started to dissipate, and I could get a sense of different doors or possibilities starting to open up, not just for me, but also for the person that I was resisting and reacting to. And a couple of days later, they asked to get their bars run. And what was really interesting about that is because that's the first time that they had ever asked to have their bars run. Now, if I'd continued on with that loop of resistance and reaction, which was designed so I didn't have to deal with their energies, it wouldn't have created that doorway of possibility. And since then, they've had their bars run like 3 or 4 times. And the way that they're functioning in this reality now is so totally different. And all the projections and expectations that are being placed on them from other people are now like sort of just running off them like water off a duck's back. And it's really interesting. And they're making choices where their own resistance and reaction would normally come up. And when you look into their eyes, you can see them going, fuck, I don't want this. And they just change it immediately. And it's such a wonderful thing to see. And that is just by that willingness to have that demand and choosing something different on my behalf. And it can create such a huge change in the world. Now, by doing that, it's created possibilities in the future that go way beyond 5 years, 10 years. It's if they keep on choosing, and if I keep on choosing, those possibilities that I know are available can start to physically actualize more and more and more and more. Now, so where have you made resistance and reaction greater than choice? And everything that is, would you now be willing to destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, I sure, boys and beyonds. My dear friend Marta Gilliam, I always laugh when I say her name because Gilliam is actually an old French name, which is where my name comes from, Liam. And I actually wrote a book about, and the main character was Gilliam in it. But that's besides the point. It's just makes me laugh. But my friend Monica, she was telling me this story about how there was the road rage, and I think I might have brought it up in an NPOP show before, but it's such a good example of, you know, when somebody goes into road rage and then the next person goes into road rage and the next person goes into road rage, and all of a sudden there is a big traffic jam and lots of very interesting significance around the whole thing. People start taking photographs and get involved and all of that sort of stuff. They even make TV shows about it, which I find very interesting. I'm just going to mute someone there. I muted you, Karen. So there was this road rage going on, and it was coming closer and closer to her, and I get that same sense of that energy coming up, and where she would normally go with that road rage when somebody is projecting so much energy at you. And she went, no, this stops with me. And that's part of the demand. And then that allows you to have much more choice in your reality. So everywhere where you are perpetrating, everywhere where you are defending this reality of resistance and reaction, or alignment and agreement, by continuing your resistance and reaction to particular energies, would you now be willing to give that all up and destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, iron, short, boys and beyonds. Now, this is, for me, this is a turn on, because every time that we go into that resistance and reaction and that anger energy and all of that sort of weird, you know, really highly significant stuff, I know that it tends to kill my body. And so all of that stuff is a turn off. Yes, it can be a turn on in the short term as it turns on your body's fight-flight responses. But then all you get is this big adrenaline rush, which can be fun sometimes, but what it does is it leaves your body depleted after a while. And so it's like you just go, wah, and then it starts to kill your body rather than contribute to your body. So when you're willing to make that demand that this stops here, and then what choice do I have? What can I be that's different, that's going to create a difference here? And you go into that question and that choice, it allows all of that energy to become a contribution to your body. And so it becomes a turn on for your body. So you have more energy for all sorts of things, including sex and copulation, because you're much lighter and you've got a lot more energy, and there are a lot more possibilities for you to choose from. So everywhere where you have locked all of that anger energy into the cells of your body, all of that resistance and reaction into the cells of your body, would you now be willing to allow all of that significance that you've locked in there to dissipate? And let's eradicate it on 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Just some magic. 1, 2, 3. Pow. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And let's ask all of their cells that have been ellipticize from all of the significance placed on resistance and reaction and all of those energies, can we now destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, eye, shut, boys and beyonds. So one of the things that is documented a lot now in medical stuff and all alternative stuff is that when a cell is actually spherical, it's pretty round in shape. I mean, it does move, but when a cell becomes quote unquote diseased or sick, it starts to ellipticize, and so all of the connection points on the cells that allow things to move in and out of the cells to keep them healthy, to keep them going, and all the energies and all the chemicals and all the keys that are locked in there and pull things in and all of that sort of stuff, they get squashed out of existence, or not out of existence, they get squashed, so nothing can come in with ease and nothing can leave with ease. So everywhere where we've ellipticized our cells so that they will retain a magnetic imprinting of resistance and reaction, can we now destroy and uncreate all of that, please? Across all lifetime, space, dimensions, and realities. Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short, boys, and beyonds. Well, I didn't know we were going to go on to all this sort of weird shit. How does it get any better than this? Any questions? Whilst anyone's thinking of a question, just apologies for being an hour late. I was just having so much fun chatting to someone. Oh God, that's not a very good excuse, is it? Oh, I was having too much fun. How many of us are not actually, we're having too much fun that we miss something, and then we have to come up with some sort of boring old excuse like, oh, I got a puncture or something like that, so it would actually fit somebody's reality, and then we buy it as real and true. Everything that is, can we now destroy and uncreate it? Oh, good, bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short, boys and beyonds. Have you noticed that when you were a kid, you had to come up with all these stupid reasons and justifications for why you spread jam all over the handle of the fridge? Because it would be funny when mum would grab it and go, oh, what the hell is that? And then you go, and you have to come up with some stupid excuse like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. And then you start believing in it when actually you were just having a fun time. So everywhere where you have to, so everything that just brought up, all that down, can we now destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short, boys and beyonds. Any questions? Any statements?
This was fun. Thank you. How does it get better?
Yeah, how does it? Yeah, it just does.
Hi, Liam. I just have a comment.
Yeah, sure.
The topic, the art of choice and choice, it just makes me shy.
Oh, okay. So what does shy mean to you?
I can't, I'm blushing, you know. I can't ask question. I don't feel able to, oh my gosh, to ask question about it. I just like I am 4 old now.
You're what?
I am 4 years old.
Oh,
now.
4 years old. Oh, okay. I'd say when you were 4 years old, was that a time when you actually became aware of sexual energy?
Yeah.
Yes, no, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe yes.
Maybe yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, because like when we go into that flush, you know, that's often the body's way of actually being aware of all of the sexual energy. So all of the sexual energy that you became aware of at age 4 that you have suppressed and misidentified them as shyness rather than I'm turned on, will you now destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Thank you. Good, bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short, boys. Well, we must have got your item there because you're giggling now.
Oh my gosh.
Quick, turn off the camera. No, don't do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And this is the thing is like, when we turn off these sexual energies, or when we make something significant, or when we misidentify an energy, then that cuts off our choice. So, like when we're
Oof.
walking down the road and we're starting to get turned on, and we misidentify it as shyness or something like that, and then, oh my God, we have to start turning ourselves off, or we have to start making ourselves wrong, or we have to cover up our bodies, or we have to duck into an alleyway and masturbate. Oh, no, don't do that. Whatever that is, when actually it's just our bodies that are getting turned on. And this is one of the things that I love about the access clearing statement, because it starts to, and choice, because it starts to release all of that energy that's available to us. And 5 minutes before, when we were talking, just 5 minutes before, we were asking for all of that energy of resistance and reaction that's been locked into our cells and electricizing that and creating disease in our body and our lives to dissipate. And all of a sudden you have this amazing amount of energy, and now you're taking your clothes off, and let's just keep going. And the bodies start heating up. Mine's starting to heat up now. And so awareness is actually very sexual in nature, because it is fun for our bodies. There is a lightness to it. Awareness has lightness to it. Notice the difference between choice and decision. Which one is heavy? Choice or decision? And
Decision is heavy.
Decision is heavy because it's very hard to change a decision. It's much easier to change a choice. And so choice is light, and lightness has an awareness, and choice has this lightness attached to it. And our bodies are really made up of these molecules of photons of light that are just like, wow, can you get that energy? Like if we were really allowing our bodies to function from that, how much more energy would we have for the physical actualization of what we truly desire? And I'm not just talking about copulation here, which is where a lot of people try to take that sexual energy to, and that then becomes the sex no sex thing that Gary often talks about, which is the lower vibration of receiving. So everywhere where we have misidentified and misapplied sexualness or sexual energy as a copulation as the outcome of that, or orgasm is the outcome of that, can we now destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, iron, short, boys and beyonds. And orgasmic energy is this creative energy that in this reality has been broken down into sex or no sex to really just create one thing, and that's children. And we have so much more available to us other than just kids from sexual energy. So everything that just brought up or let down, can we now destroy and uncreate all of that?
Yes.
Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, iron, shorts, boys and beyonds. And what else is truly possible with all of those yummy jummy energies that we've twisted into a no choice universe of only sex or no sex? And everything that is, can we now destroy and uncreate it all? Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, corn, iron, short, boys and beyonds. Cool. Any other questions? Because otherwise I'm done. We got 5 minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was great that you brought up that energy. Yeah.
Hello. I have a question. I don't know if you can hear me all right. I'm not appearing.
Yeah, Anastasia?
Yes, that's me. Hello.
Hello.
My question is, what if you make a choice that involves other people, like you're doing something with them, and then it's like no longer light for you, how do you not make it heavy from there? How do you not make it significant because there are other people involved?
Well, you know what I have found is that 99% of the time is when you actually are choosing for the lightness of everything, then what will occur is that you'll make your choice, and the other person will usually go, "Oh, thank God for that." And because if you're really doing it from choice and not from resistance and reaction, there is a vulnerability in your reality. And if you're working with humanoid type people, which is 47% of the planet, when you're working with people like that and you're that much you have that much vulnerability to actually choose what is light for you, then they are inspired as well, and often it's your awareness of what's going to create something greater, and they may not have the words or the awareness of they may have the energy of it, but not the cognitive awareness to say, hey, actually it's not working for me either.
I can really see that, actually. I just never really, I guess, acknowledged it. Yeah, that's much lighter.
Yeah, it's totally amazing, because I know we've all done it. You know, like you build yourself up because you got to make this choice, and you've made the choice, and then you got to tell the other person, and then you're worried that you're going to hurt them or that they're going to say something, and you say, "Hey, you know what? This is really not working for me. I'd like to do something different with this," and then they go, "Oh, thank God! I thought it was just me."
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now the other half of the planet, if they're judgmental and they judge you, well, they're going to judge you for whatever choice that you make anyway. So it doesn't matter if you choose to continue on. They'll judge you for not saying something, and if you choose to change something, they'll judge you for choosing to change it. So, the important thing with that is that you never make their judgment greater than you, because somebody who's going to judge is going to judge no matter what. So it's like that may be a good thing not to have those sort of people in your reality, if they're, especially, like, I'm going to use the term inner circle. I don't, those people that are quote unquote significant to you, or those people that you're choosing to spend more time with or create with, your creative partners. Yeah. I would not recommend having creative partners that are highly judgmental of you, because their job really is just to either dominate you and destroy you, or try to keep you in this judgmental reality. Of course, you're going to get clients that are like that. Just charge them more money. How much fun would that be? Does that help, Anastasia?
Yeah, that helps. Actually, then you talk about just how some people just would judge no matter what. That was really light, and that's just first time I showed up like that. It's like, wow, this is just an awareness. Like, this is just how it is. It's okay. This is very cool.
Yeah. And, I was having a conversation earlier on in the evening, and the person just wanted the righteousness of their point of view. And again, it was like I was starting to go into the resistance and reaction reality, and then I went, okay, so what can I be different here? And I just in that 10 seconds, it was like, this person doesn't want to change. They want to hold on to the rightness of their point of view. So I just said, yes, you are right. And they haven't spoken since then. So just by allowing the person the rightness of their point of view, they're usually happier. So even if they come back at you with some sort of judgment, like, oh, you're an arsehole, Anastasia, because you're always changing your mind. I never know what to do with you. you just say, yes, you're right, because they want to be right in their point of view of who you are and what you are, where you are and when you are and how you are and who you are. And so as soon as you allow them their rightness of their point of view, they no longer have to defend it. So there's not this big energetic wall between you and them, and they'll either go away, or it's easier for you to manipulate your reality to more fun, more joy, more lightness.
This is like interesting difference between aligning with what they say and like agreeing just to be an allowance of their rightness.
Yeah.
This is really different. Yeah, this is really.
So that's the whole thing, is they want you to resist and react to them as much as align an agreement. It doesn't matter, because what's important for them is this reality of polarity, which is judgment. So when you're willing to allow them the rightness of their point of view, you don't have to go into any resistance and reaction to them or alignment and agreement. And then you've just stepped beyond this reality. So you can be incredibly grateful for those people that are, like really want the rightness of their point of view. As long as you never resist and react to them, it means that you're stepping beyond this reality. And that is sort of like, you can give yourself a good pat on the back for that, because now you have more choice.
I already have more choice just from what you're saying.
Yeah, and notice how everything is so much lighter.
Yeah, it is.
And more choice means more possibilities, which are infinite, which means that we step more and more and more into our infiniteness, if there's such a word. Infinite, not infinity, but more into our infinite being, which has no limitation, no box from which to function from. That's a turn on. That's a turn on for bodies too. So everywhere where you've locked your body into a box that looks like this, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, 53 years old, whatever age you are, all of those labels that are boxing your body and stopping it from being the magnificent one that it can truly be, can we now recant, rescind, revoke, claim, renounce, announce, destroy, and uncreate all of those projections, expectations, separations, and judgments that have been placed on it across all lifetimes, space, dimensions, and realities. I might have doubled up on my those. Good and bad, right, wrong, pop, popcorn, ice, short boys, and beyonds. Cool. Hey, thank you, Anastasia. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I like to keep this show to a half an hour, otherwise people start to lose interest. And this, so I'm in Canada for the next few days. We've got a bars class tomorrow. We've got a talk to the entities class tomorrow. Some of you are coming, some of you are not. I hope you all come tomorrow in more ways than one. And then we've got the talk to the entities class on the weekend here in Toronto. And then I'm down to Utah for woohoo! Yeah, that must be Kaylin. Down to Utah for talk to the entities, bars classes, foundation with Julie Merwin, and maybe we'll see some of you there too. Hopefully, some of you are coming to that as well. Nobody's laughing at my jokes tonight. Oh, that's because you're all on mute. Ha 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 ha. And some of you are in a totally different country. So, one of the things I love about Access is it's available across the entire planet now. 12 years ago when I started, it was available in only selected areas. And now you can go online. You can do a class a day if you wanted to. I often do. It's a way for me to actually, that's one of the reasons why I love facilitating, is because I'm in that class energy a lot of the time. And if I'm having a funky day, get a video like this, listen to it, or download somebody else's video, or listen to one of the classes that you have been to. and it will change something. It's a bit like the old thing with the Bible, you know, flick through it and read something, and that will give you some more awareness. For me, it just gives me so much more ease with my life. So, having said that, next week, it's either next week or the week after, my my co-facilitator will be Cass Thomas from Italy. So that's really, really exciting for me, because Cass and I have been friends for many, many years. She is an amazing facilitator. We're going to be looking at communication. And she's written a book, 7 Steps to Great Communication, or something like that. I can't remember it exactly. I have read the book. It's really great. It's very specific. And there are some great questions to ask in that. So check that out online. Cass Thomas, Google her if you don't know her. So hopefully that's next week. If not, it's the week after. And we'll see you all next week. Ciao for now. And what could you choose this week that will create something different? Don't ask that.
Thank you, Liam.
Ciao, everyone.
Bye.
Aloha.
Aloha.